When you're modeling game assets, you're going to be using a different workflow than what you're probably used to from something like product visualization. You're going to have to optimize your polygon count. You can't have 6 million vertices on your objects. You're going to be baking fucking texture maps left, right, and center. There's a whole different branch of philosophy within asset modeling. So that's what we're going to talk about today. In this video, we're going to make the PUBG level 3 helmet, and we're probably going to break this down into a couple of different videos. So make sure you subscribe so you can see the rest. And also, if you want to learn more about the many tools and techniques which you're going to see me use in this video, I explained all that in my Blender Pro Tips ebook. Make sure you check that out. Now let's quit fucking around. Let's get started. Okay, step 1, we need the base shape of the helmet. Now you might think we're going to do this with a sphere, but the problem is that when you add a UV sphere, you get this part at the top where all the edges are merging into one vertex. And that's a little bit shitty because we have this E-pole up here, which is bound to give us all sorts of problems. If we add the subdivision surface modifier, we get all kinds of shit. If we use smooth shading, it's not going to work too well. If you want to learn more about poles and why they're problematic and how to avoid them, I got a free topology guide in the description where I explain that stuff in detail. Instead of a UV sphere, we're going to use a cube. Now here's the thing with a cube. With a subdivision surface modifier, you can turn that into a sphere, but it's not a perfect sphere. So if we apply this modifier, we have to use another modifier, which is called a cast modifier. You can find that in the deform section. Click on cast right here. You set the factor here to 1, and you're going to see that slightly changes the shape of this object, and it turns it into a perfect sphere. Now this is not the same as adding a cube, subdividing the fucker, and using Shift-Alt-S, pulling that to the right to turn it into a sort of ball shape. A lot of people think this is the same, but if you look at these two objects, you can see clearly the geometry is distributed in a different way. They look quite similar, but I'm telling you they're not the same, and the first method that I showed you is better. I don't want to spend 30 minutes talking about the details of that, but if you guys want, I can make another video talking about spheres and shit. Anyway, now we have to turn this into the base shape of this helmet. So first of all, we're going to have to delete the lower half of this object. Select the geometry at the bottom. We're going to delete all of that. Then we're going to take this edge segment down here. We're going to extrude that downwards a little bit, and we're also going to scale it down just a little bit so we retain this round circular shape. It's a fucking airplane flying outside my building. And now we don't really see the exact shape of this helmet behind the visor, but I think it's something like this. We have to delete some geometry from the front like this. We're going to delete these vertices. That leaves us with a little gap here. Then maybe we can take this and extrude it once again, maybe scale it down a little bit further. And now we just have to make this part here round. We can do that either by pulling this geometry inwards using the 3D cursor, or using the slide tool with double G and something like that, moving some of our geometry around until we get a decent shape, or by adding the subdivision surface modifier and then, well, doing the same shit again. If you add the subdivision surface modifier, you get a lot more geometry. As you can see, without the subdivision surface, we got about 474 edges. As soon as we add one level, we have almost 2,000 edges. So that depends on the situation. It depends on the level of detail you're going for. If this is an object you're going to be looking at from close up, then you want to have a lot of geometry. If this is just something you're going to have in the distance, then you definitely want to reduce the amount of polygons you have for a game. Again, I don't want to spend 30 minutes talking about polygon counts and level of detail variations. We can talk about LODs and all that shit in another video, so just let me know down in the comments. Anyway, let's just say we want this to look cute for now, so I'm going to add a little bit of subdivision surface. Then we're going to delete one half because we need these to be symmetrical, and I don't want to do the same thing manually on the other side. So I'm going to go add modifier, generate mirror modifier. That's going to mirror everything across the origin point. Right now that's set to x-axis, so everything is mirrored on the x-axis, which means every vertex is duplicated and its x-axis position is inverted. That's why it looks all fucked up. So we have to reduce x-axis and we have to turn on y-axis. And you also want to place the mirror modifier above the subdivision surface modifier. That way it gets mirrored first, and then the mirrored version of this object gets the subdivision surface modifier. Otherwise, if we do the subdivision first, then we get this object with the curved corner over here, and then if we mirror that, of course the curved corner and this little thing right here gets mirrored as well, and you don't want that. You want it the other way around. That looks way better. Anyway, you can play around with this shape a little bit further if you want to. I'm gonna leave it like this. I think that's good enough. Maybe I'll change it later. Apply the mirror modifier, apply the subdivision surface modifier, and then we're gonna go add modifier, generate a solidify modifier. That's gonna give us a little bit of thickness on the inside. You can go outside as well, it doesn't really matter. And since I don't really want to have any geometry on the inside, I'm going to check only rim. That way I just get this little segment at the bottom and I don't really get anything on the inside. And we're going to apply that as well. So now we have this little segment down here, which we can take, and we have to make this little rim around the outside. So here's what we're going to do. Either we can take all this geometry from the bottom, we can press Alt E, extrude faces along normals. That way we give this a little bit of extra thickness like this. Or we can take this surface over here, we can press I for inset and then O for outset. That creates a new face segment around this object, so it pushes everything inwards. You just got to be careful when you do that to make sure you don't get any clipping like we got down here. In our situation, I think it's best if we do a little bit of both. So we add a little bit of outset and then we do Alt E, extrude faces along normals. We take this segment here, we slide it up a little bit more, and then we take this face segment, we're going to inflate that with Alt S so it looks something like this. Then I also want to add a new loop cut right here, and I'm going to take this geometry, slide it inwards a little bit like this. This just seems to me to be the shape of this helmet if I look at it in this reference image, but who knows. Anyway, we're going to go Object Shade Smooth now, and of course we want some of these edges to be sharper, so we're going to select some of these edge segments like this, and once you select them, you're going to press Ctrl E, mark sharp. Of course, we want to select this one on the inside as well, so mark sharp, and there you go. Now we got a decent base shape for this object. The next thing we have to do is going to be the visor. So to create the visor, we're going to start with a circle that has, let's say, 96 vertices. We're going to scale it so it's just a little bit bigger than the helmet, then we're going to extrude it downwards, and we also got to lift it up a little bit like this. When you lift it up, you might want to lift it up in edit mode. That way the origin point stays exactly at the middle of the helmet, and that way we can pivot this object around that point so the visor can go up and down. We can adjust its position, and we're going to delete the back side of this object like this, and this is where the hinge is going to be. So give me a loop cut like this, delete a couple of faces from the side so it's something like this, and you want to remember this is going to be angled, so it's going to look something like this. And when you rotate it, make sure you rotate it in object mode. That way you can move geometry around your local axes. You're going to lose that possibility when you rotate an object in edit mode. And this is the kind of shit that I talk about in my ebook. I don't really have time to explain all these techniques in detail in these tutorials because we got to be quick. So make sure you go check out the ebook if you want to learn all these techniques, because you're going to need them. So here's the problem. We want to have this part down here rounded a little bit. Of course, we can't just take this vertex and bevel it because that's not big enough. And we can't really slide this up to create a curve. That's going to look a little bit shitty. Maybe it's good for a low poly version, and maybe you can cheat your way through by combining that with a bevel or something. But here's the right way to do this. We're going to add a bunch of loop cuts here. Don't worry, we're going to get rid of them later. But we add enough loop cuts so we have little squares on this entire surface. And now let's say we want this curve to go from over here to over here. So it's going to be 3 edges on each side. We have to imagine this as a quarter of a circle, and the middle of that circle would be right here. So we're going to select 4 faces around the middle of that circle. We're going to press Shift 7 on the numpad to align our view with those selected faces. And then if you place the cursor right here, we can go to edit mode, Shift A, circle, align that circle with our view. And if 1/4 of this circle has 6 edges, that means the full circle would have 24 edges. But I'm thinking I'll go 16 edges because I'm going to slide these vertices to the end. That way it's just going to be a little bit more manageable. You're going to see in a second. We scale this circle down. And now we have to slide the geometry from the visor so it matches the vertices from the circle, which is aligned with our view. So you do that with double G and Alt. That just slides the vertices along the edges which they are connected to. And that's going to give us this round little corner down here, as you can see right now. After we're done with that, you can delete the circle. Then we can also delete all of these edges over here. We don't need them for anything. And if you want to, you can also take the geometry from the bottom and move it along the local Z axis to push it down a little bit further. Everyone's going to have a slightly different shape, so you decide what you think looks best. Another thing we got to do is this. If you notice here, the edge back here is not exactly parallel to this edge here. So that means we got something like this going on back here. It's angled a little bit. I think the best way to do that would be to take this edge and slide it backwards a little bit. And then we have to redistribute the geometry here because, well, we have a big gap here. And then all these edges here are a little bit closer together. This is where loop tools come in. So make sure you activate your loop tools in your preferences. And we're going to select all these edges like this, including these. And we're going to go W loop tool space. Well, we have to exclude these edges from the side. So give me something like this. Then we take these edges over here. We're going to inflate them just a little bit. So we have this little step here. And we're almost done. Now we just take these corners here. We can bevel them with Control B and V. Scroll up a couple of times so we get these round corners. And there we go. We're almost there. Then we add a mirror modifier. We go ahead and we add a solidify modifier after the mirror modifier. We solidify that shit. You decide what you want the thickness to be. It's going to be something like this. And now we get to the cool part, which is the visor itself. So check this out. So first of all, let's set the rotation of this object to 0 just so it's easier to work with. We're going to duplicate the geometry from the front of the visor like this. You're going to do Shift D. You're going to separate that by selection with P. You can get rid of the solidify modifier on this object. And you're going to extrude that and push it outwards like this. After you do that, you're going to extrude this downwards on the Z axis. And you want to place the cursor over here at the front. Use the 3D cursor as your pivot point up here. And just scale this down a little bit on the X axis. And another thing you might want to do is change the angle back here. So we're going to take this vertex and this one from the corner. We join them with J. Same thing over here at the bottom. Delete everything outside of that cut like this, and then just fill this in with some new faces. Now this is slightly angled, so we got a slightly larger surface here, but that gives us the rough shape. Now here's where things get a little bit complicated. We have to cut out this hole which has round edges, and I wish I could tell you we can just select these faces in the front, inset them with I, extrude those faces inwards, and then just take these edges from the corner and bevel them with Control B, but that's not going to work because that's going to give us some shading artifacts if we use smooth shading. As you can see, even if we mark our sharps, we got a shading artifact here. I got another video where I talk about why this happens in more detail, and this is one of the reasons why you have to understand how topology works. So we're going to have to do this the right way, which means we're going to have to add a bunch of loop cuts over here. Again, we want to turn this into little squares. And by the way, you might want to have more geometry here. So we might want to add some more loop cuts over here. Then select all these edge segments over here. We're going to redistribute this. So select loops, edge rings, loop tools, space, maybe a little bit of loop tools, relax as well. And then we do the same thing over here on the side. Once again, we redistribute some of this geometry. And then here's what you're going to do. You're going to select a 4x4 surface here. You're going to inset it with I and then use your loop tool circle to turn that into circle. Make sure you uncheck flatten down here. And once you've done that, you're going to delete this circle, delete everything around that circle except this 1/4. Then clear out this area at the bottom as well, and we're going to use our 3D cursor to mirror this thing. Shift D, right click, scale to -1, correct your normals, merge your vertices by distance. We're going to use our 3D cursor over here to extrude this and align it with the 3D cursor. Then clear out the rest of this area over here in the front. Use our 3D cursor again to extrude out this part from the front. So extrude that, bring it over here, do the same thing over here at the bottom, merge by distance, correct your normals. Let's get rid of whatever the fuck this is. And now we can take this, we can extrude it backwards on the x-axis. And if you want to fill this, you can fill this with a face, select this edge from the side and just hold down F. Maybe we're going to need a couple of loop cuts over here to fill this properly with some quads, but here we go. And there we go. Now we got a pretty good basic shape for this helmet. Okay, so far it's looking pretty good, but the problem is we already got 6,500 edges, and we didn't even add the little details which we still have to add here. That might be a problem, so let's talk about how we're going to reduce this geometry a little bit. Now, you don't really have to do this in 2026 because modern games can handle pretty high poly counts. But in case you do actually have way too many polygons, I'm going to show you a couple of methods for reducing the poly count. So in this case, we have this helmet right here, and that's the biggest problem. And we don't really need to have this many vertices here. We can definitely reduce them a little bit. But I don't want to reduce the number of polygons I have on this edge because then it will look visibly jagged. It's going to look pretty shitty. So I'm going to separate this little rim around here. I'm going to select all the face segments involved there. And once we selected all of them, we're going to press P to separate by selection. So now we have this here as a separate object. And a great way to reduce the number of polygons you have on an object is to go to the modifier tab, generate. You're going to click on decimate, and that's going to remove some of the geometry there. So if you go to wireframe view, you can see by default this is set to collapse. We can set to ratio to something like 0.35. As you can see, that just leaves us with around 36% of the original geometry. It just randomly removes it. It turns everything into triangles and shit. So it's not good for your topology, but in this case, it does make the object look a little bit more busted. It's not supposed to be perfectly smooth and clean. It's supposed to look like the metal has been on the battlefield a couple of times. So I actually quite like how this looks. Alternatively, if you want to keep it clean, you go to unsubdivide, and the number of iterations has to be an even number. And then as you can see, everything stays clean. It's all quads. Everything is nice and pretty. But in this case, I'm going to go with collapse. Now, before I apply this, I want to make sure that I don't have any gaps down here at the bottom, which I currently do. And to fix that, we just have to select some of this outer geometry, extrude it inwards a little bit, and then select this face segment. We're going to use Alt-E, extrude faces along normals, and just extrude that downwards a little bit. And then you're going to delete all the faces here which you don't need, and select this and slide it all the way to the bottom, merge by distance. And now the bottom edge is just a little bit lower down, so now we're not going to have any of these gaps. So there you go. Now we went from having 1,860 edges here to only having 627 edges. Now you can control the ratio, set it to whatever you like. And before you apply this, you might want to duplicate this object just so you have the original version over here in case you need it back at some point. And once we reduce that, now we're going to move over to the visor. First of all, we have these two edge segments here, which we don't need for anything. So we can select them. That's already 268 edges, so X dissolve edges. We can select all these faces over here at the top, all the faces at the bottom, including these two faces on the sides, and we can press X dissolve faces. That's going to get rid of all these edges that we had here. And then we also want to select all the faces from the back. We got to make sure to deselect any extra geometry here. We're going to delete all the faces there. We don't need them. We can also slide this here to the end and this down to the bottom. We can play around with this a little bit and slide some of the geometry around a little bit more. Maybe we can bring this out to the corner like this. At the very least, we can probably dissolve these edges because we definitely don't need them. And another thing, we don't need to have this surface looking so pretty and clean on the inside. So we can take that inner surface, we can separate that by selection. And then instead of having these round corners here, just add a loop cut here, delete everything else. Then you're going to take that edge segment which we left over, extrude it along the local z-axis, then bring this part down. And we can probably reduce this geometry even further by selecting all the vertical edges here. Select, check or deselect, X dissolve edges. And now we have a lower poly version of the visor, and you can't really tell the difference once you add the smooth shading anyway. So we already went from, what was this, 6.5 to less than 4,000 edges on this object. That's a lot better. And now let me just finish it up with a little time lapse. So I'm just quickly going to make a couple of these other objects over here. We got these little things on the side of the helmet. I don't know what that thing is. Then we got a couple of screws here and there. I'm just making this into a time lapse because it's not really that complicated. There's not really much to say here, but I still want to include it in the video without spending 30 minutes on it. And then once we finish up those little details, then the model is going to be pretty much ready to go. And once the model is ready to go, now we're ready to move on to the texturing part. Now, I don't want this to be a 45-minute video because we all know that nobody's going to click on that shit. So we're going to do the texturing in the next video. And that video is going to be all about doing the edge wear, doing the texturing, doing the normal maps, baking the details and shit like that. That's the part that you really have to understand properly if you're trying to make models for video games. So make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel so you can see the next episode when it comes out. It's probably going to be tomorrow. Also check out the fucking ebook if you want to learn more about Blender. There's a link for that in the description. Also join our Telegram channel. Also follow me on Instagram if you want to see what I'm doing. If you got any questions about this video, if I missed something important, then just let me know down in the comments. Now that's enough. I'll see you in the next one.